Dear colleagues, it's a pleasure for me to be here, and I'm going to present you this short communication, short 400 seconds, on the crisis which is currently impacting Burkina Faso. And this paper has been realized by Koutalounian, who is currently in Burkina Faso to get data, by Pierre Ozer from the University of Liège, she's already, and well, and myself from the Hugo Observatory at the University of Liège. All right, when we talk about Burkina Faso, international broadcasts every week or every 2 weeks at least give you bad news about what's going on over there. We have a conflict, I would say, with different attacks and from what the press calls jihadist, which I'm not very comfortable with that. But anyway, so you have a disaster going on right now with thousands of people dying every 6 months, and which is just unbelievable. And as a matter of fact, Burkina Faso is currently the #1, sadly, African country who's most affected by terrorist attacks. And that's unbelievable because 5 years ago, it was a very quiet country. So because of these different attacks happening in the north and on the eastern side, and now at the west, and now even in the south, since 2018, where we had almost no displaced people in this country, who's about 20 million people, you see the increasing, never-ending increasing number of IDPs within this country. And currently, when I'm talking, the last numbers from IOM is we are talking about 2 million people who are declared IDPs within the country, which is 10% of the population. This has an impact on food security. For at least 10 years, Burkina Faso was like this, that is, no insecurity regarding food availability. So this was in June 16, okay? But now when we take a look at what's going on, because of displaced people, because of the impossibility to access to some regions because of insecurity, more and more people are facing food shortages. And currently, this is the situation. And but last week, we have to add that 43,000 people are just facing famine right now. And this number is very likely to increase in the next week. In the same time, so this is, I would say, local situation. But what's going on in Burkina Faso is depending also on the international stuff. Just like the conflict in Ukraine, which has impeded the access to fertilizers, and the price when the fertilizers are available has been multiplied by 3, which is just impossible for local people to get it. And in places that have been implemented and for irrigation on the western side of the country, and here we're talking about a specific valley, the one of Sulu, who is feeding, I know him, 3 minutes left, I'm going to go on 80 seconds. So this is feeding 10% of the national population, but you see here, year after year, and currently, that there is almost no more production within this area because I would say the jihadists, as they could say, have destroyed the irrigation network. So this is going to be a problem because a work we've done last year shows that 83% of the IDPs used to work in agriculture before they moved, they had to move. And now only 18% of them are still working in agriculture where they've been displaced. 12% of the IDPs were previously working in livestock farming, went to zero. Production areas have been abandoned, and there is no access to the factors of production, which is becoming a problem in terms of food production. And currently, in Burkina Faso, about 25% of the population is in need of humanitarian aid. Of these people, 3 million have been targeted by the humanitarian affairs, but only 17% of the targeted people have been reached. Why is that? It's because, first of all, locally, because of insecurity, but also because a large amount of money has been oriented through trade and everything, and the help for Africa has decreased by about 8% in 2022. So at the end of the day, you have less money to help people who are starving, I would say, who are facing food insecurity, less money, and as you see here, all over Western Africa, I mean, compared to 2015, 2020 average, all the needs are much higher currently. So this is in July 2023 right now. So the difference are in between +6% compared to the average until +500%, according to the different countries. For Burkina Faso, the needs are 300% higher than usual, but the money is lacking. So all this together, I think I'll do. So here I've talked about only this. So you have terrorism, displaced people, IDPs, people in need of humanitarian aid, and crisis after crisis, COVID-19, Ukraine, etc., etc. There are more IDPs, more people in need of humanitarian aid, and there is more and more people who need aid and less aid. More and more insecurity and more precarity. And it looks like the more you enter into insecurity and precarity, the more people will be displaced and the more, I would say, terrorism will be amplified. And the thing is, we're just talking about the last 5 years, but we have to put that within a large context of rainfall shortages and climate change impact, of declining resources for the increasing population, which is a long-term threat. And to conclude that, this is just a snapshot of what's going on right now. And the question is, what's going to happen in the coming decades while the population is supposed to be multiplied by 2 within an horizon of like 20 years from now? Thank you.
Thanks very much, Pierre. So we'll briefly do a short Q&A now, if there are any burning questions for clarification. We will have a more in-depth discussion later if there's something. Yes,
Just one quick, you said most of the displaced people don't have work in agriculture or livestock farming, but do you know what most of them entirely unemployed or something that you experienced?
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the question. So 95% of the IDPs used to work or in agriculture or were elders or whatever. Only 18% of these people still work within this field. The other people, that is over 55%, have zero occupation, nothing. They just depend on aid. So you can imagine with the COVID, where with the lockdown in Burkina Faso, just like anywhere else, I mean, there was no aid for 4 months, nothing. And they didn't even have a supply of water or something like that. So it has been a nightmare. Yeah, so over half of the whole population has no work. 18% is working in agriculture. The rest of it is working on informal jobs like that you find in the morning. That's it. And yeah, some of them are working in gold mines over there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I just would like to say that this topic is terrific, and the case of Burkina Faso, because we have the feeling that it's going to happen, may be contagious and being the same soon. Also, it is the case already for some countries like Niger or Nigeria or Mali, but it could expand to the whole region because, as we've seen, the situation is very under tension, under pressure, and these kind of small tipping points may multiply day after day. That's maybe why I'm wearing such a shirt from Burkina Faso, because you need color to try to hope for a better future. Thank you.